Vi har nettopp sett Dire Straits i et oppdrag som tysk fjernsyn gjorde i februar i år. Dette showet er i store trekk det samme som det vi fikk oppleve på deres Europaturné som ble avsluttet i slutten av november. Dire Straits har på 2 år blitt et verdensnavn innen rockverdenen, med 2 LP-plater som har solgt til både gull- og platina-trofeer verden over. Men Dire Straits forsøker å distansere seg fra all viraken og oppstyret omkring dem. De har imidlertid ikke klart det helt, for her sitter de nemlig. Mark Knopfler, sologitarist og komponist. Lillebror David Knopfler, som spiller rytmegitar. Så er det bassisten John Ilsley, og til slutt trommeslageren Pick Withers. Does it bother you to give press conferences to always have to be answered the same kind of trivial questions?
Absolutely. Really? Yeah, isn't it? I mean, yeah.
Well, I was thinking the other day, I mean, they always ask the same questions, don't they?
This is what you find, of course, the same questions, yes.
So you give them the same
Sorry,
answers.
what was the question?
Does it bother you? Is it?
Yes, it does.
Oh, yeah.
It would bother any. It would
You're
bother
not going to
anybody.
ask all those questions, I can't.
Don't worry, Chris. You'll be all right then. Just come and sit on my knee, please.
It's a kind of in the life of a rock musician.
Yeah. Well, how would you like to be? How would you like to be asked the same questions all the time?
Yeah, you are.
You know, you end up saying
In a
the same
nutshell.
things all the time, or making things up to make it more
Concisely and
interesting.
to the point, this is it.
Most other rock groups are trying to get into the paper gossip columns. Do you try to avoid that?
It's the difference between reading something like Keith Moon drove his Rolls Royce into the pool today. You know.
Good for him.
Pick Withers got up and had a shit. I mean, you know,
I mean, the word is still around.
that's what I do. Isn't it? I mean, which would you rather read about? I'd rather read about Keith Moon.
Yes.
So would I.
Do you see any danger in getting to your recent position? Do you look into the mirror and see kind of
Never
world
in the morning.
rulers? You could do that
Look into the mirror and what?
and see yourself as world rulers.
Guy.
I'm off.
Top of the world. I think there is a danger in that.
That's a real big one. I don't know.
Yes.
I couldn't handle that at all.
At all.
It's too early in the morning.
No, forget it.
Yeah.
Cut.
We only rule after lunch.
Is that a boy's dream to get up there being
Yeah,
adored?
I think
by
the whole thing about
kids.
the whole thing about that is that that's what it is. A lot of it, I think, is like just like you know, a red guitar, wanting to play, like wanting all the stuff, and part of it is that dreams coming true. Sure, it's great if you can. I mean, the only thing is that the reality is never the same as the way you actually thought that the dream would be, But it's still, you're still doing it instead of not doing it. That's better.
Do you think that your own success was kind of promoted by the fact that you were the only decent new act alternative to the punk?
There's just a lot of new bands came out in '77. We were one of them. There's loads of bands, and they're all different to each other. I don't think you can draw any conclusions.
The punk new wave thing, whatever, wasn't the only thing that was going on in '77. There was lots of other things going on.
Yeah, sure.
And we were just another part of that.
Like Mark said the other day, if we can make our own wave, that's the most important thing. Isn't that right?
Absolutely.
What would that wave be?
Tidal wave, huh?
Tidal wave.
What?
It's the new Bill Withers blow wave. You unleash it on the world.
What? Do you have any
Sorry, Jim.
meanings, bad meanings maybe, on the punk phenomenon, the Pistols' way of behaving?
Bad feelings.
Good
Yeah.
for them. Good for them.
I found it
Good for
very
them,
hard
why?
to kind of
Just a different-
listen to a lot of punk records. Some of them were really great,
Yeah.
but as an overall thing, maybe it wasn't kind of so interesting. But what was good about it is that lots of young kids will have been playing instruments, and some of them will stay.
They were inspired to
So
get up
about-
on the stage themselves, the kids, to play, do their own thing.
Well,
The punk
I'm
phenomenon.
just kind of glad that It introduced a lot of young people to playing drums and playing guitars and things.
A little about your own background. What did you do before the Dire Straits? Start with you, Pick.
Well, I've been
He was
playing-
Dire Straits, wasn't he?
Playing professionally for about 12 years.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to get my pension next year.
I was at college before, doing a degree in London.
Did you do any kind of regular work with other...
Yeah, before that I used to work for a timber importer in England. Highly interesting job.
Importing Norwegian wood.
And
Norwegian
David?
wood, yeah.
I once had a girl, what should I say?
I was a social worker.
Go on, lads. I've only got to play tambourine in this one. I once knew a girl.
Lots of different things, you know, a whole lot of different things. Teaching, journalism, student, factory worker, farm worker, warehouse, different jobs.
Crammed a lot in,
Jumping
didn't
freight train.
Is it difficult to get along with each other on the tours, working so close together?
I mean,
No, we know.
we never... It's just not that sort of band, you know. I mean,
No?
Is it, John?
he? Absolutely not, Pick.
No, not really.
We all
you
get
are,
along really well.
Your music bears a good deal of resemblance to J.J. Cale and Ry Cooder. Do you feel influenced by these guitarists?
Well, we're influenced by you. We're influenced by each other. We're influenced by... I mean, the whole thing is totally...
Collapso.
Absolutely. You know, that's it. It's just not... you don't think about it as in terms of, you know... I mean, God blimey, I haven't even got a record player. It's not... Everything influences. You know, everything influences.
You will
it's just all that... all that a song is something that stands up by itself and is a response to something, a response to an environment, response to situations. You know, there's no... It's not like, you know, you're heavily influenced by... you're heavily influenced by Carl Perkins, you know, yeah. Oh, you can't just point to certain things.
One of the funny things is that when you get asked these questions, if you do mention a name, what we've got now is a situation where in every country certain names get the headlines. You know, there's so-and-so is influenced by this person, in another country you're influenced by somebody else.
Jimmy
in another country.
Onions.
Jimmy Onions. He was the man, really, Jimmy Onions, right.
Brought tears to my eyes when he played.
You're not the only one.
It were real. It were grand.
Have you ever heard of Jimmy Onions?
No.
Ooh,
Who's that?
he's a spicy guitarist.
Oh,
You
good.
could make that guitar talk.
And seriously,
See,
then
I'm
there
watching.
is this classic story of how you got the recording contract. And you got in contact with Charlie Gillett, who is a rather serious and well-regarded radio host in England. How did you get in contact with him?
You'll start
Telephone,
with
wasn't
John.
Yeah, I just rang him up because I'd spoken to him a couple of times on the phone before with another thing I was doing with a record shop and asked his advice on a few things. And Mark, you know, used to listen to the program and stuff, and we just said, well, let's see what Charlie thinks about it. Just rang him up and said, do you want to have a listen to a tape we've done? So he said, yeah, sure. Took it round and he listened to it. And that's really it, you know.
Mm.
He was just one of those few people who's prepared to listen to, at that time, to listen to new bands. You know, and he actually played it on his radios, on the radio station that week. But he has quite a small audience, really. It's only just London, just outside London, and quite a sort of a cult audience, really.
The main advantage of it was that it saved us a lot of the usual headaches of taking tapes round to record companies. We were in the incredible situation of having record companies phoning our flat direct, phoning us, which made it a lot easier.
Yeah, although there was still a
We still did a bit of that.
A lot of tramping around
we had
with
to,
tapes.
Yeah, we had to go around just about every, and we ended up still doing the same thing, like going around every record company in London, you know, just meeting all these A&R guys.
But it did make the transition into doing that easier.
Capital Radio wouldn't play it Sultans because it was too many words in it. Sorry guys, there's too many words in that song.
Too many words for the average punter.
I can't understand them. They can't understand them.
How does this negative and often insulting critics bother you? Does it bother you?
Didn't know it had any.
Oh, there are just so few people in rock journalism that I would like allow to have that kind of respect for.
I think it's just another interpretation of what you do, right? Somebody else's view of what you do. And okay, you're vaguely interested in that view, but I mean it doesn't alter or stop you from doing what you would do anyway.
The curious thing is that sometimes even you get what's called a good review, you can find it more irritating than something that might be called a bad review. I mean, you can get good reviews that are so completely, they're so totally out of order and of course so completely miss the point. You know.
I remember one review in the Lady Maker of a.
You can do it.
We played once in Manchester. It was a particularly fatuous, wonderful, brimming with compliments review, and it described the end of news as a blistering crescendo.
Blistering crescendo by Withers.
That's just, well, you know.
It was that night though, but
Wasn't that fast? It's just, I'm sorry. It doesn't mean anything to me at all.
Are you pleased with your 2 albums when you look back?
No.
Not. Anything?
They're just records. They're just records made in a particular place in a particular time. And there'll be other records made in particular places over a short period of time. It's just a record.
You are playing the new number called Twisted by the Pool, which is more gritty and down-to-earth rock and roll. Does this mark any change in direction for your next album?
Probably.
Perhaps not. Forget it.
it's really more a question of what songs come along, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You know, say what Marx happens to be writing at the time. You know, we're also working on a thing that's, you know, very, very sort of quiet in some respects, you know. It's another side of it. So, yeah, there's all sorts of things going on. It's not a direction, woof, you know, it's like it's build-up process to
Plus,
that.
I mean, also you can arrive with a song, Mark can arrive with a song that sort of seems one way, and then we can demo it and it comes out another way, then we can record it in the studio and it comes out another way again, and then we can go and play it live and it comes out another way. It's, there's no rules about it. Nothing which says it has to go like that, or it has to be like the other.
No, we'll see.
And so the record is 3 weeks when it happened to sound like that. And that's the way it came out.
Okay, thank you very much.